Hello everyone, welcome to Neso Academy. In the previous lecture, we have understood data set fundamentals, or I can say the important machine learning terminologies related to data set. And now in this lecture, that is data splitting, we are going to understand the machine learning terminologies related to data splitting. So the topic for this lecture is data splitting. Now, before I formally introduce what is data splitting, let me first explain it to you with a wonderful example. Suppose you are having your mathematics examination after 1 month, and the revision classes are going on in your college. During these revision classes, the teacher solves and discusses many practice problems on the board every day. By solving these practice problems, you become familiar with the concepts and patterns behind these questions. Now, when you appear in your final examination of mathematics, do you think in the final exam you will get the exactly same questions as the practice problems? No. Some questions will be same, but many questions will be entirely different or unseen. However, those unseen questions also will follow the same pattern and concepts as the practice problems. So we can say that the problems that you have solved during practice or during the revision, that are considered as the training questions because they help you to learn the patterns and concepts. But the questions that appear in the final examinations are considered as the testing questions because they evaluate how well you have learned the patterns and concepts behind the problems. So in similar way, in machine learning also, the total available data is divided into two parts, the training data and the testing data. Training data is used to teach the machine learning model, by which the machine learning model learns the patterns and features behind the data, while the testing data is used to evaluate the final performance of the machine learning model, how well it has been trained on the training data. I hope with this example, an overview of two types of data, that are training data and testing data, is now clear to you. Now it's time to formally introduce the term data splitting. So in machine learning, we have the complete data set. This is the total available data that we have. Suppose our complete data set contains 10,000 examples. Now, this complete data set or the total available data will be divided into two parts. The first part is known as the training data set, and the second part is known as the testing data set. As I have already explained to you, training data set is used by the machine learning model to learn patterns and features from the data. So, training data set is used to train or teach the machine learning model, while testing data set is used to evaluate the final performance of the machine learning model, how well it is trained on the training data set. So these are the two types of data set, training data set and testing data set. Now what is this 80% and 20%? This is the ratio of data splitting. That means 80% of the total data is the training data set and 20% of the total data is testing data set. Now this ratio can be variable. Sometimes this ratio can be 90:10, sometimes it can be 70:30 or 60:40, but the most commonly used ratio is 80:20, which means 80% of the complete data set is used as training data set and 20% of the complete data set is used as testing data set. Now you can see testing data set is smaller than the training data set. Why? Why testing data set is smaller than the training data set? If you consider the same example of mathematics examination that I have just given you, you can practice any number of practice problems that you want. So, you practice lots of problems, but during the final examination, you will only get the limited number of problems. That is why the testing data set is usually smaller than the training data set. Now, this process is known as data splitting. And there is one more name of this process, which is known as train test split. Why train test split? Because the complete data set is splitted into two parts, training data set and testing data set. That is why it is known as train test split. Now let's understand the definition of data splitting or train test split. Train test split is the process of dividing a dataset into training and testing datasets so that the model can be trained on one part of the data and evaluated on unseen data to measure its performance. So this is a very simple definition. We have already understood it. Train test split is the process of dividing the total available data into two parts, training dataset and testing dataset, so that the model can be trained on one part of the data. So the model can be trained on one part of the data, that is training data set, and evaluated on unseen data. This is the unseen data. Testing data set contains the data that is totally different from the training data set, so that the model's performance can be evaluated, how well it is trained on the training data set. So this is the definition of train test split or data splitting. Now we are going to understand training dataset and testing dataset with different example. So first we have the training dataset. What is training dataset? Training dataset is that portion, or you can say is that part of the complete dataset that is used to teach or train the machine learning model so that the machine learning model can learn patterns, features, and relationships from the data. So basically, training dataset is used to train or teach the machine learning model. Now let's take an example. For a house price dataset, the training data is the data of houses whose features and actual prices, that are labels, are already known. So, for a house price dataset, what is the training data? The training data is the data of houses. The training data is the data of houses whose features and actual prices, are already known. So, in the previous lecture, I have explained you that these are the features of the houses, and this is the target variable for the house price prediction system, because these attributes define the features of the houses and this is the actual price of the house. So, while making a house price prediction system in machine learning, we give machine learning model both the features of the houses along with the actual prices of the houses, that is the target variable, so that the machine learning model can understand the relationship between the features of the houses and the actual prices of the houses. Once it understands the relationship between the features and the target variable, then only it will be able to predict the target variable based on the features of the houses. So this is the training dataset. Now let's understand testing dataset. Testing dataset is that portion or that part of the complete dataset that is used to evaluate or check the final performance of a trained model on unseen data. How well the model is trained on the training dataset and how well the model performs on new or unseen data. For example, a separate collection of houses to evaluate how accurately the trained model can predict the house prices for unseen data. Now this time we are having a separate collection of houses. Now this data is completely different from the training dataset. In the training dataset, we were having the house data for house number 1 to house number 7. And here we are having the data for 3 new houses, house number 8, house number 9, and house number 10. That means this is a separate collection of house data. Now, during the testing phase of our machine learning model, we will give the machine learning model only the features of the houses. We will not give the machine learning model the actual prices of the houses, because house price is something that our model is expected to predict. Our machine learning model will predict the prices of the houses. And after the machine learning model predicts the prices of the houses, we will compare the predicted prices with the actual prices. If the predicted prices are close to the actual prices, that means the performance of the machine learning model is good. But if the predicted prices are far away from the actual prices, it means the performance of the machine learning model is bad. So, testing dataset is used to evaluate how accurately the trained model can predict the house prices for unseen data. This is the testing dataset. So I hope you have understood the training dataset as well as the testing dataset. In this way, we are done with our topic, data splitting. So this was all from my side for this lecture. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next lecture.